I'm Brian Lessard from Lessard Builders. We're at one of our new developments called Dickinson Creek, and we have a new home that's being insulated, and with me today is Victor. Victor, what are we going to see inside?
Brian, inside we got some different types of insulation, from your standard bat insulation all the way up to your open cell foam.
Well, fantastic. Let's go inside and take a look. All right, Victor, we're in the garage. This is, tell me a little about this.
This is your standard fiberglass bat insulation.
I noticed you got some foam here.
The reason behind this is you got your electrical boxes that doesn't leave us very much room to put a standard bat insulation. And when you put bat insulation, it's all compressed behind there. What we're really trying to do is to eliminate all the air infiltration, same way with your wire penetrations. Air is the biggest key ingredient on trying to make somebody as comfortable as possible. And with standard bat insulation, it does not stop airflow by itself.
So bat insulation is a porous material, like a filter.
It's very, very similar to a filter. Does not block air whatsoever. It does reduce the thermal conductivity through that area, but if you have any kind of airflow through it, and also up and down, that's the disadvantages to bat insulation. It's a very good material. It's been around for years. It's going to be around for a long time, but there is flaws with fiberglass bat insulation when you want to get a high performance home, which a lot of yours ends up being.
We have some stringent rules that we have, and one is sealing a house, and you can kind of see even where the plywood is. So right before you're ready to go ahead and put insulation, you've done some things for us. Explain what you're doing here.
In this wall cavity, you got an exterior wall. You got this electrical penetration going into an exterior cavity. What you're trying to do is eliminate any type of air movement coming through there, along with your seam where your plywood meets up. House wrap is installed on the outside, but we want to try to eliminate as much air as possible into these wall cavities.
Victor, this is really a lot of things are happening here. We have some different foam, some caulk, and some even board up there. Explain what's going on here.
Yes, the same thing right here on your seams. We're sealing up all that. Spaces into these dead areas, we're sealing up along the electrical penetrations. You have your electrical boxes here where we're totally insulating behind it. We're also insulating where the electrical wire enters the box to eliminate that airflow. Then we also have up here on this gabled end, there's a rigid board product. It's something just to put in place so when we insulate it, we're blocking all the airflow. This home is actually going to be an entire spray foam application.
Let's kind of move over to the other side where we have the spray foaming going on.
Okay.
Victor, we see we have a little bit of cardboard here. What is that? It's like a backer or something.
The only purpose in this application is to prevent the foam from going down into the soffit areas. Once he sprays, this foam expands at such a great nature, which you will see here in a second.
Wow, look at that.
Sprayed on like a spray paint, and it grows within 7 to 8 seconds.
Look at that stuff grow.
And what's happening is it's sealing up every nook and cranny in this home. The open cell product grows 100 to 1. It's sprayed on just like a spray paint. Within seconds, you can actually get an expansion rate all the way up to 10 to 12 inches.
Now he's going to carry that all the way up to the ridge of the house, basically.
Yes, what we're going to do is we're going to seal the underside of this plywood all the way from your soffit all the way up to the ridge vent. Don't have to worry about eliminating the airflow, because you need no airflow in this application, because the foam is going to prevent any of that moisture condensation on the underside of this plywood. The only way to really reduce your overall cost of energy is to tighten up the house as much as possible. You want a house today to mechanically breathe. You don't want it to be leaky like it was 40 years ago, right, and it breathed on its own because there's so many holes throughout the house. Your real main purpose is tighten up the house as much as possible. That's going to reduce your overall cost and the comfortability, and then mechanically bring in fresh air. Then that way the consumer has control.
The huge advantage of this is that you are able to use a smaller furnace. It's half the size almost as far as heating and cooling, because you have less air movement within the home.
Well, and half the size of a furnace is going to reduce your bills. When you're looking at reducing the HVAC unit from a larger unit to a smaller unit, you're spending less overall cost to heat and cool your home, because the unit is not near as big. Exactly. And it doesn't come on near as often, because once it gets to your set temperature, this foam is going to keep it within the home instead of escaping. So now that HVAC unit comes on. Once it goes off, it doesn't come on again for a while.
Victor, we're on the first floor now in the living room area, and I want to kind of point this area out is that, you notice, look at the attic space that we would normally have.
In the summertime, it could probably easily be 130 degrees in this dead attic space. By us doing spray foam there, you make that become a semi-conditioned space. So it's relatively the same temperature as your house. Standard batt insulation is only going to hold back the thermal ability of it for so long. With spray foam, yes, it's not going to keep it enclosed for days, but it holds that temperature at a much greater length of time. And with it holding that temperature at a greater length of time, you're going to have a conditioned space above your drywall. So now that heat is not just sitting directly above this ceiling in the summertime that's just making you sweat inside your house. You can walk around and it's comfortable. You don't have that heat right above your head.
Exactly. I think we're going to go on the other side of the house here, and probably in one of the bedrooms they're starting to spray foam basically the outside walls to kind of give an idea what that looks like.
So we can see an application on the wall.
Absolutely. Victor, what do we got here?
Brian, what we have here is a partial piece of a open cell foam. What you get out of open cell foam is it's an open cell structure within the foam, meaning that there's little air pockets throughout this foam that help the thermal ability of the spray foam. On closed cell foam, what you run into is the cell structure is very, very tight. It's a closed cell formulation, so the actual foam is doing all the insulating. With open cell, you're actually having air pockets that's doing the insulating along with it. It eliminates any kind of void in error, human error. And you just cut it flush with the studs, that way the drywallers have no issues whatsoever to hang their drywall.
It looks like it's putting off a lot of heat. It's, is this foam being sprayed, is it hot? Or?
Yes, this foam coming out of this hose is roughly about 115, 120 degrees, hitting a much cooler surface, which is just the air itself, and that's where you're going to see that steam coming off.
What's amazing is there's absolutely no air there's no air getting through these walls when they're done.
No, it seals up this entire cavity. When you're looking at getting this done, are we going to be in and out in one day like your standard batt insulation? No. You're looking at possibly 2 days depending on the house, and overall you're just ending up with a much better job. He just sprayed this cavity. You still see some of the steam coming off of there. Within 10 seconds, you can actually touch this foam, and it's already got a skin base on it.
Yeah, it's hardening up. We're ready.
Yes. Now, behind the scenes, the foam is still curing behind there, but this is the skin coating. It's more like a sponge. If you can see my hand actually push into this foam will stay like this for the lifetime of the foam.
Oh, it doesn't really harden up that. That's nice.
It will never fully harden.
So it gives. So if the house moves a little bit.
If the house moves, you don't have to worry about it cracking and leaving a gap for air to come in. So this will actually move with the home as it settles throughout the lifetime.
Victor, we've seen a lot today. One system that we haven't seen is the bib system. Tell me a little bit about it.
The bib system, what that involves is a custom fit fiberglass blown in all your exterior walls. It gives you a higher R value, less of an air infiltration rate, and that's actually something that you do as your standard.
So in recapping, we have 3 installations. We have good, better, and best. Good being your batt system, better being a bib, and your best being your foam insulation. Well, Victor, thanks so much for spending some time with us. We had a good time.
All right,
thank you.